Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail, Fuse Accessories, Elevate Tree Stands, B3 Releases and Broadheads, and Hoyt.
Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. It is October 10th, about 60 degrees. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I mean, we've talked about how awesome October is, and today is a perfect example of that. There's a breeze out of the north, about 10 miles an hour. We're sitting in the same stand that I sat in last week, right on the corner of this cornfield, where the deer coming down off the hills will come around this corner and then either go to that wintergreens plot behind me to the north, or turn off to their right and head south and go down into that bottom, this little bottom right alongside of the driveway. There's a lot of food down in there. They've been using this pattern quite a bit for about the past month. In fact, the two bucks that I'm hunting have both come down through here right on the fringe of legal shooting time in the evening. And I don't think they're bedded here. I think they bed up on the ridge. But they also cover a lot of ground. I mean, they're here and then they're on the other end of the farm the next day. So they're really unpredictable. But this is one of their spots, and it's an easy one to get in and out of. We just walk here right from the buildings. Not much impact. You know, I'm still not ready to go in after them. We're at least 2 weeks short of the time when I'm going to become more aggressive. But it's too nice of a day not to be out here. With some luck, we'll get a doe to come by within bow range, and with even more luck, one of those two bucks will show up. It's amazing that I get that nervous and excited shooting does. I don't know how many I've killed in my life, a bunch of them, but every single one of them gets my pulse going. She was a spooky one. She was sure taking her time. Slightly quartering toward, that was that XO3, B3 XO3 broadhead. And I'm going to try a few different broadheads this year just to kind of get a feel for what flies accurate, what does a good job, you know, excuse me, what holds together well. So she's dead 30 seconds later. Can't complain about that. Today's October 11th. It's about, what time is it, Ethan? About 2:30?
I'd say 3.
3 o'clock. The name of the game today is moving blinds. Just got done moving one for Jordan down in that valley by the scrape tree. We had a little conversation, she and I, about 10 days ago about the likelihood of where we're going to get that deer. So I'll run that now, and then we'll come back again and we'll talk about what Ethan and I are doing. We're gonna do a little experiment. But that's my prediction. October 25th, 28th, 27th, somewhere in there. We're gonna have to do something with the corn. We got to knock some down so you got places to shoot. But that's where he's gonna get it, because he's gonna live up on top. He's gonna live down here in this valley, just like more on top than that buck I hunted last year, but maybe just as much in the valley as that one. So it's kind of cool that we got 2 bucks on back-to-back years that are using kind of the same pattern.
Yeah.
But this is what he did last year. You know, we filmed him on the 18th of October, do exactly what I'm talking about. Come off that ridge, drop down, and come along the bottom, you know, and go right past the scrape tree. So he's still doing it. He's just doing it at midnight.
Yeah. But that kind of, that's just thought of another question. Do you think that year over year they tend to have similar patterns at the same time of the year? Like if they have one pattern that they're on in like September and then it changes to a different one in November, do you think that they keep that the same year over year? You know, like they gravitate back to the same seasonal routines?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think they're creatures of habit, and you got to figure by the time we start hunting them, they're mature.
Right.
You know, and it's different with 1 and 2 and maybe even 3-year-olds, because they're trying to figure it out. It's like Bentley versus Duke.
Right.
You know, we kind of know what Duke's going to do. We have no idea what Bentley's going to do. You know, because he's still figuring out what he's all about. And
I don't know that he'll ever.
Yeah, well,
I don't have a lot of hope that he'll ever figure
he may
it
not.
out.
So we got Duke here. We got Bentley somewhere over there. Yeah, there he is.
He's playing in the mud.
Down by the pond in the mud. So it's, the deer have those same type of characteristics. They become more and more ingrained as they get older.
People do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they become a creature of habit.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think that does account for a lot of their behavior. But you always have to start from scratch every year.
Right, right.
And make sure, confirm, figure it out. But if you have to pick, you know, the best way to kill a certain buck, it's probably the same way that almost worked last year.
Right.
Because
especially probably if they had no reason to change that habit. Like if you didn't scare them or hunt them really hard or knock down their whole forest or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Without any major changes, they should be right back there. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go with moving a blind this afternoon. And as long as I'm going to be moving it anyway, might as well just jump in it after I move it and hunt it and just see how the deer react to it. I can't remember if I've ever hunted out of one of these blinds the day that I moved it, other than unpicked corn. That works really well, but I've never done it before where I just moved the blind and then jumped in it. It's been up on this ridge, so we're taking the tractor up there, and then we're going to get in, or we're gonna move it. I don't know exactly where yet, but we'll figure that out. And then we're just going to stay right in it, move the tractor a little ways away, and just see what happens. It'd be fun if nothing else.
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest questions everyone has on these trailer blinds is how long to wait to hunt, you know, after you move them in there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to find out.
It's been my experience in the past running trail cameras on blinds that I've moved that it takes a week. But I mean, who knows? Maybe because it was up there on that field, you know, maybe we can get away with it. It just wasn't out in the field.
Yeah.
So we'll give it a try. It'll be fun either way. This is one of those hunts where it will be a miracle if we even see a deer. This blind is in a good spot now where we can hunt that bedding area pretty easy and then sleep in here without having to go back through all the food.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the thought. I knocked down, I don't know, just enough corn that we can see and maybe get a shot. I think it's a good spot. I just don't think it's a good spot today. He's eating sorghum. Are you filming that? Yeah. That's pretty cool. We just proved that we can move a blind in and not spook a 2-year-old. I'm not sure what, does and older age class bucks are going to think of this thing when they first see it, but that buck was cruising along, nibbling on sorghum, just covering ground. He looked up here 2 or 3 times and, he knew something was wrong. He just didn't know it was danger. So that's kind of cool. We ended up with 2 nice 2-year-olds coming in. That second one he couldn't have been more than about 15 yards away for 15, 20 minutes toward the end there. And I think he's gone. I mean, it's dark out now and I can't see him, but he sure hung around. He didn't care about this blind one bit. Barely even looked at it. So I'm inclined to think that on some level you can get away with this. I mean, I think if we had more farming activity on this field, that you could pull the blind anywhere you wanted to and the deer wouldn't pay attention to it. But now, I may be back again this weekend to hunt this in the rain. That was the idea of getting it out. We're gonna jump on the tractor and drive back down to the buildings. We just parked it in the standing corn behind here. And hopefully we don't mess it up too bad sneaking over there and turning that thing on, but it's better than walking out right through the middle of that corn plot. Perfect conditions really for this time of the year. We talked in the Whitetail Watch about how the middle of October can produce a little short, almost like a false rut, where the first few does come into estrus and then they're back out again right away. So this can be a real flurry of activity right around the middle of October. So that's why we're in one of my better spots. I think that both of these bucks that I'm hunting use this ridgetop quite a bit. I've gotten pictures of them on both ends, on both cameras. Not a ton of daylight, but I haven't got a ton of daylight pictures of them anywhere. So this is as good a spot as I know of for trying to catch up with these 2 bucks. So it should be, hopefully, we're in the game at least, and I'm not going to be afraid to shoot a doe if a doe comes out this evening too. about half an hour left, and we haven't seen any deer yet, so it's been pretty slow. Kind of surprising. The conditions are good. The temperature is good. I like this amount of wind. Something can still show up. I mean, it's the last half an hour to 40 minutes. That's typically a prime time to see them. Occupied myself watching Iowa versus Wisconsin on YouTube TV. One of the advantages of hunting up on this ridge is I actually get some cell phone reception. Should still, like I said, the conditions are good. This weekend should produce some action. So until tomorrow, I'm checking out.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain,
I like your
Shenandoah River. Life is over.
Inch or two deep.
Put them in there, covered up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make. So you're dropping 2 in each one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
With love and care.
Don't think too much. We're overthinking it. Yeah, it's like good and well. This beautiful October 15th evening. I think the deer are going to move good tonight. If it's not here, it'll be someplace else. Ethan's hunting, so there's some chance we can bring you more action than just what we have in the tree here. There's some hope yet of maybe seeing a mature buck on his feet. But if not, this will be the closing interview. I've been pulling cards out of my cameras and continuing to check those. And the bucks that we're hunting are still here. They just aren't moving a lot in daylight right now. But I've got a pretty good idea of where they're at least roughly. And as we get closer to the end of the month, that daylight movement should continue to increase. And, hopefully then I'm starting to dial in. Interestingly, they're starting to reshuffle their core areas. And I'll talk about that a little bit more Wednesday in the Whitetail Watch episode. I don't really know why they're doing it, but I've noticed a fair amount of that on the cameras. I had one strange buck show up, and he's a doozy. He's a old deer. He's blind in one eye. His ears broke on the other side,
He's got the tiniest set of antlers I've ever seen on a mature buck. I mean, he is one rough dude. He's been rode hard, that one. So we're not gonna put him on the hit list. I don't want that one on my wall, but he definitely needs to go. He's an old dude. So we'll leave you on that note. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.